miles per hour. So, but we're all glad that he's in the lineup, feeling good. Glad it's not broke. Just one of those things where looked really bad, and so glad he's okay.
And just can you describe some of the emotions you're feeling ahead of this game, knowing that the importance of it?
Yeah, obviously it's an elimination game, so just play our game, do a thing. I mean, we had a lot of opportunities. I was one of them that didn't really get the job done, and just it's baseball.
Other questions? Yes.
When you're in a back and forth series like this, how long do you think momentum lasts? Is it a one inning thing, a single game thing? Can it go from the previous game to tonight?
With how much this series has gone back and forth, I think it's more of just, honestly, I think it's like a couple innings. Like, big momentum swing can happen, but team can come back really fast. So obviously just keeping our heads locked in, knowing that we need to do what we need to do, and just ride it out.
Stay right there with John.
Daulton, good to see you. I'm curious, with your dad's experience in postseason baseball himself, when you're going through this series, is he offering feedback, support? What are some of the stories, too, that he might share from his own experiences at this time of year?
Yeah, I mean, he was on that Pittsburgh team when they were up 3-2 coming back home, and they lost the next two to the Braves. So he absolutely told me that. He goes, hey, anything can happen. I've been in that position where you're up and you're feeling good about yourself, and then they come back and they beat you 2 games. And just one of those things where obviously he wishes he could be able to get to the World Series, but obviously we have the opportunity. So work on today and move on to the next day when that happens.
Fifth row on your right, Daulton, Rob.
Hey, Daulton, you guys have talked all season about your ability to bounce back. What was the flight home like, and how quickly did you sort of move on from what happened in the last game?
It was pretty fast. Everybody was kind of back on the plane, normal. Everybody trusting themselves. Everybody's playing cards, so everybody was kind of back to normal, and obviously we were happy to kind of get back here and kind of have a practice yesterday, kind of have everybody kind of rehab, kind of do their thing, and give it their all today.
Questions for Daulton?
Thank you. So Daulton, you've seen a lot of different starting pitchers over your career. What's Trey like on a start day in terms of his routine and his emotions?
I would say he's pretty normal. Wouldn't say he's any different. He's pretty quiet anyways, so he's kind of just locked in doing his own thing. He kind of does the Max thing where he puts his headphones on at some point and nobody really messes with him, but he's very calm and kind of confident in himself.
Other questions for Daulton? Anything else? All right, Daulton, thanks so much. Best of luck. Appreciate it. John Schneider is scheduled for about 4:50.
So our goal sometimes we had, and I think as long as they weren't, and sometimes I feel that biggest thing is their comfort level. If they think logistically, had you already written it? Take that into account, but yes, we can.
third row on your left.
John, a lot of players talking about making this seem like a regular game, but what is your message? It's obviously not a regular game.
Sure it is, right? I mean, I think we're really good at doing the next thing, you know? We all know what's at stake, but I think you have to go play your game. You know, I think the minute you start getting out of what has gotten you here, you get into trouble. So that's the mindset I want them to have. I think that's what we've done all year, and you gotta lean into it, man. You know, it's an important game for sure. These guys are really good at getting prepared every day, so there's no other way to go about it. But they understand the magnitude of it.
Go to the second row on your left.
Good to see you again, Maury
Likewise.
from the Roz and Mocha show. So I wanted to find out from you. One can only imagine late at night you're doom scrolling on your phone, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Do you ever see the comments that people leave questioning the decisions you make, saying that they disagree or whatever? Do you ever see those comments, agree with what they're saying? What are your thoughts on what they have to say?
For one, I don't have TikTok.
I find that hard to believe.
No. Two, I don't have Twitter. And three, could care less what people think about me other than in my clubhouse.
Fair.
And we'll go to the second row on the left.
Hey, John. George is back in the lineup. You said yesterday that all you needed to hear from him was that he was good to go. So what was that conversation like?
He was in good spirits yesterday. I think just getting some reassurance with the CT scan coming back. It was going to take a whole lot more, I think, to keep him out of the lineup. You know, so he was feeling better yesterday, feeling better today. Was checking in with him via text this morning. He basically told me to shut up. Did the same thing when he got in today. So he'll be ready to go. You know, he's a little bit sore. He's got some good seam marks on his knee from the sinker there, but. I trust when George says he's good. He's played through a lot in his career, so he's good to go.
Standing in the back left, John.
Thanks, John. Relatively short amount of time for Pete Walker to work with Trey, but what have you observed in their relationship and the ability to make quick adjustments, as in the case today?
It's interesting, you know, because this guy got drafted last year, and we've asked a whole lot of him this year, and he's been an open book since he's gotten here. There's always things, I think, I always joke with Pete, it's like, finishing school when you get up here. There's always little things that he can help with or that other veteran pitchers can help with. So Trey's been really, really pretty quick on learning some things since he's been here. Whether that's with his delivery, whether that's with, varying his times to the plate, how to read a game plan, how to dissect it, how to make adjustments. They've been pretty seamless. Trey, I can't speak enough about Trey and how seamless he's kind of transitioned to this level. But I think Pete is a really good voice for him, and I think the pitchers are a really good voice for him, and they've been working really well.
Fourth row on your left, Jordan.
John, what do you make of the uptick in splitter usage across the league over the last couple of years?
I think for a long time it was a pitch that people just thought they couldn't learn. If their middle and index finger couldn't go bend a certain way. And I think guys have adapted different grips and different styles to it. So like anything, I think the game evolves with what they're seeing from hitters. 5 years ago it was high fastball, 12-6 curveball, and sweeper comes in with a sinker and a cutter. I think guys are just more well-equipped, off season and facilities and all that kind of stuff to kind of learn how to make a pitch do a certain thing. So I think that's kind of where we're at.
One row ahead, John.
It's great to see George in the lineup, but you've got a lot of guys banged up. Nate took that foul ball in game one. Ernie banged up at the end of the season there. Is it the adrenaline of these guys? Is it knowing, hey, look, I can rest in the winter time? Or, just talk about how tough and what gamers these guys are.
Yeah, I mean, everyone who's still playing, every team, every player on every team is dealing with it. Everyone's tired, everyone's banged up. Again, I think we always talk about if this were a postseason game where you'd be good to play, and we got a few guys like that. And they're doing everything that they can to be ready, stay ready. I always say there's always a little bit of a compromised version of somebody when you get to this point in the number of games they've played. So adrenaline does kind of take over, and the moment kind of makes you feel a little bit better when you are out there, better than you did right now and better than they will after the game. So it's definitely a real thing.
Fourth row on your far right, John. Mike.
Have you guys looked into or discovered anything about the velocity drop that we saw from Trey in Game 2 and figured out what that might have been?
No, I think that kind of happens. You kind of look at that with every pitcher. I was a little even aware of Max in the fifth inning. Then he goes back out for the sixth, and it kind of ticks back up. So I don't think it was anything rather than kind of circumstance. It's like a hitter getting his good swing off or not. Sometimes it doesn't really come out of your hand exactly how you want it. He hasn't said anything physically, nothing from a delivery standpoint. So I think he'll be adrenaline talking about today. I think he'll be good.
And just further to that question about TikTok and all of that stuff, you've answered before in the past as like, this job comes with whatever that spotlight's going to shine. You're going to get criticism. Your answer here was a little bit different, but is there a conscious effort from you now to shut that stuff out or to ignore everything more because there's more coming just because we are in the place in the calendar where we are?
Yeah. I think back to a couple of years ago when you're starting in this position. I think you care about it more then because you're trying to make a name for yourself. You're trying to do what's right by your players. I think the more you do it, the more you kind of take it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? Again, not everyone in this room is privy to information I am. And again, man, I get that this is a job and these guys have jobs where everyone gets to go to their job and ask them why they did something. I've never been to your guys' places of work. Don't pretend like I want to. But I think it's just a matter of circumstance, and I think just the more open and transparent I can be, the better off it is. I've said this a lot this year. I think you just have to be very prepared, very convicted in a decision. Trust the people around you that have helped get to this point. You make a decision, you move on. I've lost plenty of sleep over the last couple of years about things that haven't gone right. And I don't gain sleep when things do go right. You know what I mean? It's just, you realize this is the position you're in and you're trying to do what's right by the group. And again, man, it's when you have a group this tight, again, I love talking to you guys, but at the end of the day, it's like, I care what they think and I care how they respond to what I say. Everyone has the power to type something and hit send. You know what I mean? The world we live in. So that's kind of just where I'm at with it.
Second row on your right, John.
Me again, John. Jose Barrios was playing catch in left field a little bit earlier today. Do you have an update on him?
Nothing concrete. He was not throwing there for a while, a couple weeks. So I think he's just back to playing catch, and we'll kind of revisit everything when the offseason hits and kind of see what that looks like for him.
Sixth row on the left center aisle, John.
Hey, John. At this point, given all that's happened in the series, how much stock, if any, do you put in the idea that one team has momentum over the other, or is every game just its own discrete event?
It's crazy, They win 2 here, we win 2, they win 1. I think every game is kind of just its own thing. Again, that's why I think we try to approach it that way. You try to approach it, like a normal game. Again, easier said than done. But every game, I think, is just its own thing that is going to happen. So momentum, yeah, I get it. They have a 1-game advantage on us. We got a chance to play 2 games at home where we play really well. So weird, you know what I mean? Those moments happen, they unfold in front of you, you know what I mean? So you never know who's going to make the big pitch, big swing. A couple days ago, it was them. 2 days before that, it was us, so you got to just focus on what you're doing.
Fourth row on your left, Ben.
Hey, John. Ahead of a day like this where it's kind of must win and presumably all hands on deck, do you let your relievers know, hey, I might go to you in this situation or against these hitters, or do they just know they have to be available?
Yeah, they know. Again, I think postseason is different than regular season for sure, but I think that they know it's all hands on deck. You know what I mean? We're not worrying about tomorrow. You're worrying about today, If you don't worry about today, there is no tomorrow. So, yeah, they'll be ready for anything. I think that they have been for a while.
Go back to the second row on your left.
I still haven't downloaded TikTok.
Then how are we ever going to do a TikTok dance together?
Yeah.
So I also want to find out. Also want to ask you. Look, the team values your opinion. They love what you have to say. The country loves what you have to say. Moments before the team goes out on the field tonight, what is your message going to be to the team? What is your motivational speech? What are you going to say?
Don't have a motivational speech. The message is the exact same every day. Be you and enjoy the moment. You know what I mean? We're one of 3 teams left, you know? So when we play really well, every single guy in that clubhouse is being who they are, nothing more, nothing less. And that's going to continue to be the message as long as we play this year. That's it. You have to enjoy the moment. You know what I mean? This is what we all sacrifice for. This is what we all work for. I said it yesterday. We've won 1 game in a row 99 times this year. So we got a pretty good chance to do it again.
Do a couple last ones. The 6th row on your right, John.
John, can I ask you to zoom out and end of September 2024, if someone had told you that October 19th, 2025, you'd be in a Game 6 ALCS at home, what would you have said?
I'll take it. You know what I mean? I'll take it. We've done a lot of work behind the scenes to improve ourselves, roster, improve our communication, improve our processes, all that kind of stuff. This is why you do it. You know what I mean? How you get there always gets magnified and scrutinized, you know, but when you look at a chance to play in front of our crowd on October 19th, when most of the league is sitting at home, you take it. You know what I mean? So you have to enjoy it. You have to be proud of the things you've done to get here. But again, if you told me that last year or day 1 of spring training, if you say, hey, you got a shot to win 2 games at home to go to the World Series, sign me up every time.
One last one for John. All right, John, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Dan Wilson will be in approximately 8 minutes, and Eduard Bizzardo will be in at 5:25. So Wilson 5:10 and Bizzardo at 5:25.
Dan Wilson. Come on. All right, we'll start on the left with Jordan.
Hey, Dan, what do you think of the uptick in splitter usage in the league over the last few years, especially with, Logan's had a lot of success with it. Savage, of course, one of his big pitches.
Yeah, I think we talked a little bit about the split the last time, but, it's obviously a pitch that, is it's an unknown in terms of the break, and it's, a pitch that can act like a knuckleball. We've talked about that. And so with that, in mind, it's a pitch that can be really difficult to hit. And certainly, the guys that have mastered the split, you look at Gausman and his ability to throw it. And if you can throw it at the bottom of the zone, really a tough pitch to get, into the air. It's a lot of ground balls. You get the double plays when you need it from the split. So, and if you can throw it strike the ball, it's a lot of, a swing and miss as well. So I think just the unpredictability of it, what it does for you in terms of keeping the ball on the ground, keeping it out of the air. It's just been an effective pitch. And as guys see that around the league, then that's what they start to do themselves. So, it's a tough pitch.
Stay on the left with Ryan.
Dan, what do you like about Canzone over Robles in right field, and would we see Victor as a defensive replacement late?
Yeah, I think we have a luxury of being able to match up a little bit. And Savage does, he has with the split is can be tough on lefties. We think, the way Dom has swung the bat, that he's got a good opportunity against Savage. But yes, obviously late in the game. You don't know what's going to happen. Vic with his speed, his ability on the bases can also be a guy that can come in and run for you, but also can play out in in right field on defense late in the game as well. So that's what we're seeing at the moment, and that's how we've got the lineup set today.
Go straight back in the middle, Dan.
Hi, Dan. Just wondering if you're keeping any tabs on your players' emotions going into a game that can be historical for your organization.
Yeah, of course. I think the feeling in the clubhouse is good. I think we've said all along that there's a lot of work to be done, and there's more work to be done, and that's the message. And these guys are well aware of that. And obviously a big win coming out of Seattle there earlier. The feeling just continues to be, whether it was at the workout yesterday, it's just work to be done, more work to be done, so I think they're in a great frame of mind. They're focused, and they're ready to go, and that's what you want. I don't think it's easy this time of year to get distracted by a lot of the outside noise, but these guys have done a really good job on the whole of staying focused on the task at hand, and that's where they're continuing to keep their focus.
We'll stay in the middle in the back.
Hey, Dan, given all that's happened in this postseason, how much stock, if any, do you put in the idea of one team holding momentum over the other, or is every game just a discrete event?
I think each game is discrete. I think emotion, momentum, you call it what you want, does play a big role in the postseason for sure. But each game, presents its own challenges, its own differences. I think in terms of that, you treat each game differently. And, I think it's kind of played out that way in this series. But obviously emotion and momentum is definitely a factor.
We'll go on the right to Curtis.
Dan, Leo didn't get back with you guys until the start of September, and he's had some big moments for you. The defensive play the other day, the hit in Game 5, obviously. What is it about him after so long in the minors that's allowed him to kind of jump into this moment, not be shy of it, and be able to contribute for you guys on this stage?
Yeah, I think the thing for Leo is that, he's very secure with his identity as a player. We talk a lot about identity, and Leo is so comfortable with who he is, and a great defensive player. We've seen that from him, but a guy who just puts up a really difficult at bat and a tough at bat, and he's a tough out. And I think we've seen that play out over the playoffs as well. And when he came back, I think that's what he continued to show us, and in his opportunities to play, and as he's gotten opportunities here in the postseason, I think the story has been the same. And that's what you want from all our guys. Tough at bats, grind them out. Be a guy that can find your way on base, and then when you're in the field, be defensive, and make the plays. And we've seen Leo do all of that. So it's been nice to have him in the lineup.
We'll go in the front on your left, Dan.
Dan, how did Brian come out of the relief outing the other day, and what do you kind of envision his role will be over the rest of this series?
Yeah, I think he came out pretty well. Yesterday, I think, as he mentioned, just kind of general soreness, and which is good. And today, we'll get a chance to get out there again and play some catch and see how he feels. And, I think as you look at games 6 and 7, if there is a 7, game 6, certainly tonight is... we're going to find out who's available and who's ready to go and who might be, in the bullpen at times. So we'll be finding that out here as we get guys in on the field and get loose for tonight.
Go in the middle on the left, Jordan.
Dan, what did you see from Logan in his last time out, and what do you need to see early in this outing to kind of know he's feeling good?
Yeah, I think last time out was a little bit of uncharted waters for him, just because of the relief outing for us in the Detroit series. So tonight, you kind of look for him to be a little bit more settled and back into his regular routine of sorts. They were able to put a lot of pitches on him early. He got into some early trouble, in that first inning, and they were able to get to him a little bit. So I think just kind of getting off the blocks in a good way, I think, is going to be key for Logan tonight, and that's kind of what we'll be watching.
We'll stay in the left and back, Tyler.
When Logan is at his best, what makes him so hard to hit?
It's we talk about, ironically, it's the split, it's his secondaries and how they work with his fastball, and when he can locate that fastball, where he wants to put that, and then you throw in the sweeper or slider and the split. He's a tough matchup, and when he is on and he's able to locate those secondaries, it makes his fastball better, and when he can locate that fastball, it makes his secondaries better, and they kind of play off of each other. So that's what makes Logan so difficult, and a lot of swing and miss there. I think that the split is a big reason why he can throw that thing at the bottom and break it out of the zone where there's just not a lot of contact to be made. So if that split is on, that's when he's at his best.
Go on the far left, Rick.
Danny, in that ball game, the biggest outs of that game was Cal Raleigh's 2-3 double play. Number one, how do you make that play, and did you have a flashback? The only other time it's been done in postseason play was you and John Olerud back in 2000.
Yeah, I had no recollection of that, honestly, which is crazy. But, I think that's just a heads-up play, and I think, what we've seen from Cal behind the plate all season long has been that. But when you get that play out in front of the plate, you really want to pounce on it. You don't want that thing to roll foul because it's an easy out to step on the plate and be able to get the double play at first base. So I thought that was just a great heads-up play by Cal and made a nice play, and it got us out of a pretty big jam.
Go to Ryan on the left.
Dan, you spent a lot of your career prior to managing working with catchers throughout the organization. I just was wondering your thoughts on the passing of Jesus Montero and your thoughts on him.
Yeah, obviously, thoughts and prayers are with the family, and it's obviously a sad moment. You always hate to hear that, and especially someone so young. And so just, thoughts and prayers are with he and his family.
Go in the middle, back.
We were talking about momentum. Are you seeing any parallels to when you guys came in here from game 1 off of the other biggest game in postseason history for your team, after the 15-inning game, then you're coming in here after the game you guys just had? Are you feeling any parallels to like the way you guys are feeling?
I think as we've talked about a little bit earlier, each game is so different, I think, yes, we are coming off of an emotional game the other night, but, again, with the attitude that we have that there's more work to be done, I think we come in here, a little bit differently as well. So, again, each game presents its own challenges, and I think our guys are focused and ready to go on what's in front of us tonight.
Go to the second row in the middle.
Mariners fans traveled well last weekend. They were here cheering on the team. What's your message to them on the cusp of history, maybe?
Yeah, the fans have been the faithful. They've supported us all along, and I think the idea again that we just have to keep our minds focused on what we have in front of us, but we're grateful for the support that they've given us all season long, and you can't do it without them, and we're hoping to bring this home.
Go in the fourth row right in front of you, Gabe.
Regular season success doesn't always correlate to the postseason. What is it about Cal beyond the skill set that you think really has enabled him to just kind of keep going, in a sense, from what he's done over this last season?
Yeah, I think he has, I think you can watch a player grow up in the game and see them gain their confidence as they go. I think he's gained a ton of confidence, and you see that in a lot of different ways. You see it in his play on the field. You see it in his leadership in the clubhouse, his leadership with the pitching staff, and how he handles pitchers during the game. I mean, it's just all parts of his game have really grown, and you can't say enough about the job that he has done, both from a physical standpoint, just with his skill, his tools, what he's done on the field for us, but even the intangibles and the things off the field. And again, he's done it with a lot of humility, and he's done it because he wants to win and help this team win. And that's been definitely a momentum builder for us throughout the team. It's just that quest and that push and desire to win games.
Go straight in the back, right in front of you.
How is Gabe Spire is a precious asset for your team as a lefty in the bullpen since the start of the playoffs?
Yeah, Gabe's had just an outstanding season from beginning to end, and for a big chunk of the season was really our only left-hander in the bullpen. So, he had to carry a lot, and at the trade deadline, able to pick up Caleb Ferguson, who kind of shouldered some of the load. But Gabe obviously looms large in a series like this. They've got a lot of left-handed hitters who are difficult, and being able to match them up at times with Gabe is important. And he has seemingly delivered every time, and has been a huge part of our bullpen coming out of there.
Go in the front, Mike.
Yeah, Dan, Gino obviously had massive swings in the last game, and he had been scuffling for a while prior to that, but someone who, when he gets hot, he gets really hot, and he can sustain that. How much can something like that matter for a guy specifically like Gino?
I think, we talk about how emotion plays a big part in the postseason, and confidence is a big part of the postseason as well. And you hope with all our guys, when with success comes more confidence, and you hope that continues to carry over as we go. And Gino with just an absolutely huge game, to see that, he's a veteran guy. He understands, how that can play into this next game tonight, and just really hoping that he continues to do what he has done. Those swings were huge, and I think again it comes back to focus and where he's at, and knowing what went into those swings, and just continuing to take that same approach as he goes to the plate tonight.
Go on your left in the middle, Jordan.
Dan, what have you observed with the relationship between Cal and Logan, not just since you've been manager, but even being around the organization before then?
Yeah, I think it's as close to brothers as you can come. They kind of, when you look at two guys who've come up together in the organization and competed a lot together in the minor leagues, and then getting a chance now to compete together in the big leagues and experience playoffs, together in the big leagues. I mean, they've done it all together, and it's pretty cool to see. I think they know each other pretty well. They know how to press each other's buttons, which is it was just kind of funny at times. But I think both of them respect one another tremendously, and I think that that the relationship that they have it goes deep, and you love to see that from your battery, especially in a big game like this.
We'll go one more right in the middle, Aaron.
Dan, you've been asked about parallels between games, but you were in a similar situation in Game 4 in Detroit. What do you think your team learned from that experience? Obviously, having a lead early in that game, also in a game that you have a chance to close it out, but weren't able to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, again, these games take on a mind of their own, but certainly you can learn from them. And tonight, I think our focus, I don't think it changes from what it's been, and that has been, we're gonna play hard from 1 to 9 and 1 through 9, and that's what it's all about, and that's really what these guys have done, all season long. And we talk about the fight that they have, the resiliency that they have. Sometimes that resiliency has to happen within the game, and not just from game to game. So, we'll just see how tonight plays out. But I know these guys will be focused. I know these guys will be prepared, and they'll be ready to fight.
Thanks for coming in, Dan. Appreciate it. Edward Brizardo will be in momentarily. open up with Edward Bizzardo. We'll start in the front with Brady.
Edward, you're kind of always getting loose in a game early, even though it looks like sometimes they haven't told you to get loose. Is that just you always wanting to be ready, or does it take you kind of a long time to get loose once you get going?
No, that is like my routine. I try to prepare myself for sometime happy injury or something like that. And I'm just getting ready when they call. I'm going to be like, sometimes it's going to be fast. And